had a good life, and I wrote about that a good bit in the book, and how our relationship changed after about 15 or 20 years. The first part of our marriage, I was in the Navy, and I patterned my own married life after my father's and other men that I knew. I made all the major decisions, and I approached the decisions very carefully because I knew it affected my whole family, particularly Rosalynn, and I would just announce to her what the decision had been, and she accepted it, except in one particular case. When I decided to leave the Navy, she was very angry, and she was very disappointed in me. And she stayed disturbed or pouting, she says, for almost a year.
Really?
Yeah. In fact, we left Schenectady in New York, where I was working on a nuclear submarine for Admiral Rickover, and we drove about 700 miles or more down to Plains, Georgia, and she never spoke to me on the way.
Oh.
And if she wanted to communicate with me, she would tell my oldest son, Jack, tell your father I need to stop at the restroom.
Who was in the back of the car?
He was in the back of the car.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Well, she eventually got over it. But I learned after that period in my life, in my married life, that I needed her. And I began more and more to realize that in making the major decisions of life, that her judgment was just as good, at least as good as mine. And so in the political realm, along with our business and so forth and our family affairs, Rosalynn is much more, I'd say, acclimated to it and more attracted to it than I am. I think she's a better politician than I am. She likes it more than I do. She likes the strategy, the tactics, the fundraising techniques, the speech preparation, and the consequences of political life, maybe more than I do. And so she was always urging me when I was in the White House to let her know about the details of what was going on.
She used to sit in on cabinet meetings.
That was a final solution. The first intermediate solution was just to have a 1 hour or so luncheon with her every Wednesday so she could just ask me questions about public affairs. And I finally said, Rosa, why don't you just come and sit in on the cabinet meeting? So she does that. She did that for the last year or two of our presidential life.